On the 25th of March 1994, an unidentified woman in Canada was rushed to the emergency room to extract an enlarged stool sample that had lodged itself in her lower intestines. Upon extraction, the woman, for whatever reason, developed an emotional attachment to the fecal anomaly and named it Lucas Roberts. 28 years later, this stool sample would have its name legally changed to Clara Sorrenti, going by the online moniker of Keffals. Now, you might have heard this name somewhere before, and chances are it wasn't for a good reason. If I had to guess, it probably involved phrases like Catboy Ranch, or minors, or swatting, all of which he would know plenty about, contrary to what he wants people to believe. Before we continue any further with this, those of you who are familiar with him are probably asking, why aren't you using she, her pronouns? To which I respond with this very simple answer. He doesn't deserve it. Look, normally I'll respect a trans person's preferred pronouns, but given the history this fucker has and the mountains of evidence that paint a horrifically predatory picture of him, I honestly couldn't care less about his feelings or his identity, and I think it's in everyone's best interest that we skip the pleasantries and explain exactly what's going on. Sorrenti used to run a Discord server called Catboy Ranch along with a Twitter account of the same name. Members were called Catboys while Sorrenti called himself the Rancher. He sent out callers to his favorite Catboys with tags on them that declared them his property. Sorrenti shut down the server and Twitter after the sordid details of what goes on in there came to light. Despite all of the photographic evidence and archived chat logs proving everything we know about the Catboy Ranch, Keffals, unsurprisingly, does not like to acknowledge the existence of such a thing on account of it being a massive shit stain on his oh-so-pristine reputation. This is only made worse by the fact that Keffals is confirmed to have worked in conjunction with his friend Bob Posting, who has openly admitted to running a Breaking Bad type of operation where he cooks estrogen in his bathtub with the intent to sell it to minors online via cryptocurrency and encouraging them to hide it from their parents. But this surely isn't grooming, right? They're just fighting the good fight, sending drugs to literal children who do not have the mental capacity to comprehend what they would be doing to themselves by taking these drugs. Not to mention, these creatures have absolutely no medical background whatsoever and do not possess the required permits and licenses to be doing this. There's also plenty of screenshots documenting Keffals flirting with minors through the Catboy Ranch Twitter account. Why you would do this on top of sending children homemade life-altering drugs and then consider yourself the victim is beyond me, but it's disgusting nonetheless. On August 9th, 2022, Keffals posted a video claiming that he was swatted by the Canadian police at his home after someone sent out fake emails to every city council member of London, Ontario, claiming that he had killed his mother with an illegal firearm and that he planned to go on to City Hall to kill every cisgender person he sees.
On the night that I left my home after going public about being swatted on August 5th, the hotel I was staying at got doxxed. I decided to tell my supporters that I was safe by posting a photo of my fiancé.
Also, really quickly, don't you think it would have occurred to you at some point or another that live streaming from your location is going to lead to something? You don't think that people are going to be able to grab your IP or some shit like that? Did you really not think this through? I'm not saying doxing is okay, but you really didn't think this through, Keffals. Jesus Christ.
Cat on our hotel bed in my Discord server. The people who have been harassing me spent hours cross-referencing the bed sheets with other local hotels until they found a match. In the morning afterwards, 5 different pizza companies sent pizzas to my hotel room under my dead name. Obviously, it isn't the pizzas that are the problem, but it's the threat that they make. That they know where I live and are willing to act on it in the real world. My fiancé and I promptly checked out, and we are now living at an undisclosed location.
Also, a quick word of advice really quickly to Keffals, and I'm recording this post-editing. Maybe don't tell people where you're going, and then maybe, just maybe, they won't have something to work with. In the beginning of the video, he says he was woken up by the police pointing an assault rifle in his face. This story would later be changed. And the search warrant provided the time listed as 4:15 p.m. He was then taken into police custody and had his phone and hard drive seized by the police. The police dead-named him by writing Lucas Roberts on the evidence bags, which is the name that was registered in their system for him. Evidently, this was done as a malicious act of transphobia. In an interview with the press, Keffals makes the mistake of claiming that he went into the hallway and saw the assault rifle, which already immediately contradicts his previous statement that he awoke to the assault rifle pointed in his face. The following is official clarification from the police themselves.
On Friday, August 5th at 8:30 a.m., we received a 911 call regarding a person threatening to attend City Hall to shoot people. A short time later, we received a second 911 call questioning whether officers would arrive. Threats of this nature are taken seriously by the police, as I believe the public expects they would be. Responding officers conducted the initial inquiries, which culminated in their attendance at Ms. Sorrenti's residence. Now, officers did not conduct what is sometimes referred to as a dynamic entry into Ms. Sorrenti's residence. Rather, they knocked on the door, announced themselves as police officers, and the occupants answered. Any attempt by the uninvolved third parties to suggest any otherwise is inaccurate and irresponsible. Ms. Sorrenti was arrested for uttering threats based on information officers had at the time. Ms. Sorrenti was polite and cooperative.
Unsurprisingly, since Keffals is such a victim, he would immediately go on to start a fundraiser because of course he would. He would also go on to have a bunch of articles written about it to milk it for as much as he could. Following this incident, the Catboy Ranch server was scrubbed and users were warned to watch what they post, presumably out of fear of law enforcement monitoring it. It has long been suspected that the server is used for the grooming of minors since Keffals heavily advertises an HRT directory website that allows minors to illegally obtain homemade HRT behind their parents' backs. The Discord is also a place where adults supposedly flirt with minors, which genuinely would not surprise me given this. Being the genius he is, instead of keeping his location private after the incident, Keffals learned nothing and immediately tweeted about having moved into a hotel along with pictures. And unsurprisingly, it took dedicated autists about 2 seconds to find the hotel. This leads us to Keffals' history of openly calling for the swatting of others. Sure, it's okay if it happens to somebody else, but God forbid someone sends me so much as an Uber Eats, because that would be transphobic harassment. Due to this, she would go on and have kiwifarms taken down by Cloudflare because she can't handle criticism. And that's pretty unfortunate as well. We aren't going to be seeing the Quickie for a while because it's hosted on the same platform. In conclusion, I do not like Keffals. I do not think children should be purchasing homemade HRT drugs over the internet from people like Keffals, and especially without involving their parents. I do not think grown adults like Keffals should be sending children personalized fetish collars declaring them as property. And I sure as hell don't think Keffals should be welcome on the internet in light of this information. If any Keffals dick writers want to hop in the comments and make little attempts at defending this kind of sickening behavior, I implore you to try because we both know this isn't going anywhere. There's no defending this. Again, this is purely predatory behavior and there is no place for people like him on the internet. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, I guess. I don't feel like doing much of an outro for this video. Fuck Keffals.